In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. Now, normally, when we have an exposition of the gospel, the most memorable thing is the refusal of Thomas to believe. And in America, he is known popularly as Doubting Thomas. And somebody who doesn't believe the story of another is called a Doubting Thomas. But I'm going to comment on something else today, and that is, when the Lord appeared to the disciples, He gave them the most important thing that Christians can lay hold of, and that is peace. All right? Peace is a hard thing. It's a very, very hard thing to hold on to. And it is very fragile. Think about growing up and in your own homes, how often you've become angry with the ones that you love most. To be peaceful, to keep your own peace. It's an amazing thing. And this is why the Lord said it. And then right after that, He showed the disciples rather, His hands and His side. Because he's saying peace in turmoil, peace in pain. Remember when you were all struggling to find meaning when you saw me raised upon the cross? Peace. Remember how you were frightened at what would happen to what you thought was the most glorious thing in your life, and how it was being snatched away from you irreverently and untimely. And maintain your peace. Hold on to your peace. And then the Lord, He said, you know, even now, for fear of the Jews, you are huddled. You are huddled together. You're going to have to go out and face everyone. You're going to face the scoffers and the intellectuals, those who worship other gods, or those who are atheistic, or those who are just cynical, or those who are so lazy they haven't even stopped to take the time to think about their own individual creation. They're just going through life in a series of events without ever trying to extract the meaning from any. And amongst all of these, you're going to deliver a message that for many people is going to be reason enough for them to find you no more than some kind of entertainment. Or maybe they will just laugh. Or maybe they will be angry and they will try to hurt you. But I'm saying to you, peace. And He said it to them 3 times. He said it again after Thomas came, and He showed Thomas particularly. Now, Thomas hadn't spoken to Him except as we all speak, you know, in the anxiety of our souls, reaching out to God and saying, all of the things that are besetting me, Lord, I ask for your power, I ask patience from you, I ask the strength to forbear, I ask my Lord Jesus Christ for the blessing of peace. Let me be in peace. And so, without saying further to Thomas, He showed him, He offered up the proof that He was the same one that Thomas had seen before the crucifixion and after the crucifixion. The same Jesus, except now the risen Jesus, the true Christ, the one that was foretold. Jesus reminded the disciples all the time that He was with them of what the prophets had said. Do you remember what Moses said about me? Do you remember what was written in Isaiah about me? Do you remember the Psalms? Do you remember what David said about me? And they thought, and they thought, and they thought. And then they watched. And they saw the things that He did. But he came to them on that first day, and he said, peace. Because in the middle of the storm, to have peace is a great thing. I was talking on the telephone, I think I told this to you, I was talking on the telephone on, no, I couldn't have. I was talking on the telephone on Easter Day to Stefan Rene in London. And I was sitting in my room at my desk on the phone, and I sit in a chair that rocks a little bit. And my chair started to rock. And then I realized that I wasn't pushing the chair. And then I saw the blinds in the room moving back and forth. And I said, Stefan, we're having an earthquake. He said, you are? He says, it must not be much of an earthquake. You don't sound very excited by it. I said, nonetheless, it's an earthquake. He said, is it still going on? I said, yes. I said, it was quite nice. The whole house was moving at the same speed. I was just going back and forth and back and forth. And then after about 30 seconds, it stopped. And I didn't think about it until this moment, but this is the meaning of the peace that Jesus brings. He doesn't take you out of the earthquake, or he doesn't take you out of a fearsome event. He doesn't even take you from the hands of those who are going to torture and perhaps kill you. He doesn't take you from out of the earshot of those who mock and who are cynical and laugh. He doesn't do any of those things, but he brings you peace. Psychologists would call this centeredness. You're centered. Or if you're a devotee of martial arts, you remember our friend Jerry who has the gym. His gym is called Centerline Gym. And it's because you keep your body centered in a line, so no matter if you're going to strike with your hands or kick with your feet or prepare to block with hands or feet, you maintain your balance and your equilibrium at all times. But this is spiritual and intellectual peace and centeredness. It's emotional centeredness and peace. It's the kind of peace that surpasses all understanding, because why would one be peaceful when they were in torment? And I mean real torment. It's hard to remember to thank God in such moments as when I was with my friend who was dying, and his parents were crying, and his wife embraced me and cried on my shoulder, and his sons are crying, and to maintain peace, and to know that the person who is leaving us is only just going ahead of us, that we will be together, because even in our hope we have peace. Some people hope desperately. Desperately they hope. Ooh, they hope. Ooh, they get excited. It's like a gambler. A gambler who thinks that the dice are going to come up to be a certain number, or the cards are going to be dealt to him that are going to be of a certain numerical value, or the wheel is going to spin and the ball is going to land on red or black. And there is this frenzy to their hope. This is not Christian hope. Christian hope is in peace. It's being calm. It's not being worried. It doesn't mean that things are going to turn out the way that you expect just because you expect it. But having this peace and having this calm is the most precious thing that the Lord can impart to you. That's why when he met his disciples after his resurrection, the first thing he said to them was, peace. To be peaceful. To not be nervous. You hear that, women? To not be nervous. To not be anticipating the next thing. I know someone, I've known her for a long time, she's always in the next room. It doesn't matter where we are or where she is, she's always in the next room. That means that she's thinking about where she's going, not where she is. She's always busy. It's always the next thing. If it is midnight, she's thinking about the morning. She hasn't even begun to sleep. And she's already thinking about the next day. And as I've told her many times, go to sleep. If you're lucky, you won't wake up. There won't be anything to do on the next day. Right? So don't worry about this. But there are some people, they always live, what's coming next? What's coming next? They don't enjoy the liturgy because they think about what's coming next. They don't even, the deacons sometimes, they're not even thinking about what is being prayed, so they aren't part of the prayers because they know it's their turn coming up next, and am I going to be able to say this the right way and have all of the people listen to my voice, think it's a good voice, pronounce the words carefully. This is not peace. This is not peace. Peace is the slow, deliberate scrolling out of time, the clock which ticks to the master watchmaker that we have nothing whatsoever to do with. When I was with Abuna Shenouda on Thursday, he asked me outside of the family, how long do you think my brother has? And I said, well, I don't think he's going to die right away. Shows what I know. But the basis upon which I made that remark was because he had asked for some mango ice cream. And you know me, I have always told you, if I'm not going to be able to eat chocolate candy, or baby back ribs, or sweet and pungent shrimp, or mango ice cream, pull the plug. I'm already dead, I just don't know it. And so he asked for some grapes. He ate some grapes on Thursday. He asked and he ate some mango ice cream twice on Thursday. And I thought, okay, he's still fighting. I watched him get up and go to the bathroom by himself. But the clock that is ticking, the clock that the master watchmaker made, that the one who is in charge of all eternity, he chose the time. And on that moment, when it was time to go, his servant Moheb went. And it wasn't what I expected. I don't think it's what his family expected. But all we have is this moment, don't you understand? We don't have the next moment. I may die in front of you, or you may die in front of me, or all of us together may be assumed up bodily in what the Protestants call the rapture. But if that takes place, and we have not enjoyed this moment, we are fools. And we are fools because of the anticipation of the next moment. So we're not living in peace, because to live in peace means the tranquility of the moment. Some people, they think they understand what peace is. The drunk understands it at the bottom of a bottle. The guy who is an addict, when he sticks a needle into his arm, or when he snorts something up his nose. That's not peace, that's being insentient. To be insentient means to be mindless, without a mind. Some people think, if I have no worries, I am in peace. If no one is bothering me, I have peace. No, it's when you are filled with concern about, well, how many people mourn the death of President Kaczynski. Who? Exactly. The President of Poland, he died with most of the members of the cabinet in a plane crash yesterday. 77 people, I believe, were killed. Imagine if Barack Obama, well, maybe I shouldn't use that example, but imagine somebody you don't like, or do like, went down in a plane crash. You might have anxiety for your nation, wondering what the administration of the nation and how the affairs are going to be conducted in the absence of those who were in charge. Will the enemies of our country take advantage of us? Will they be able, now that our president has been killed, to do something? Will we experience... Okay, you may have concerns, but without getting upset. That's the peace that the Lord Jesus brought and offered. Because it doesn't mean that to bring something, to offer something, is the same as to receive it. You have to take what is offered to you. And many people, when I was a priest, a young priest, and people were fighting in a house, and I would go to a house, and the house was in complete disarray. I would come in and I would try to bring peace. That's the job, right? It's the job. After about 5 years, I would stand at the front door. Somebody had called me, and I would stand at the front door, and they would open the door, and they would very generously ask me to come in. And I would say, if it was the man that opened the door, where is your wife? If it was the wife that opened the door, where is your husband? I would have them both come to the front door, and then I would say to them, did you invite me here as a witness to your fighting? Or did you invite me here to make peace? Because to make peace means that I am going to tell each of you what to do. And you are going to have to be obedient. That may be difficult. But if you're not willing to be obedient, I cannot bring peace. Because it requires, first, that I find the facts, and then secondly, I negotiate. But to bring peace and to offer it, to have the chance of making your home peaceful again, you have to be willing to take it. And if you're not willing to take it, it doesn't matter who shows up at your front door. So why waste my time and why waste your time? Because I refuse to simply be a witness to a fight. You can invite the next door neighbors, for example. You could, even if you are creative, sell tickets. I'm not going to be here for that. So, do you want peace? And it's from this. Because he says to them in this closed room, peace. He doesn't say much else to them that's as substantive as that. Peace. Peace be with you. We start every prayer so that we are praying as one body. Not as a priest doing an official act of business and deacons doing a separate official act of business, and a people, a congregation, doing a separate act of business, but forming one body and wishing on each other peace, so that we may pray as one body, undivided. The body having one goal and going for that one goal united. Peace. To bring peace. That's why the Lord Jesus Christ is known popularly again as the Prince of Peace. To bring peace. So, I conclude this by saying the peace of the Lord be with you all, and go in peace, not in pieces.